Welcome back to Fountain of Youth TV. Today my topic is going to be primal eating, going back to our hunter and gatherers of the past, of our ancestral background, where before we became this civilized, more processed food-based agricultural society, when we were out gathering and really foraging and having to find our food, and we weren't really doing all this grinding and cutting and mashing and just pulverizing our food and cutting into bits and pieces, where we at a time where we really had to bite and chew into our food. So I really want to take you in just a really quick video to talk to you about maybe altering some of what you do each day to help to prevent tooth decay and wearing down of the gingival tissue, building up the jaw and the facial muscles as well, but mostly for our children, because it really starts from the day that they're born. Those of you moms who are choosing to breastfeed, and I'm a big advocate of that, my girls will attest to that. I breastfed both of them each for almost 3 years, and people were shocked, thinking, oh my goodness, why are you doing this? Well, we were designed to nurse our children. And when it comes to breastfeeding, not only is breastfeeding really healthy and beneficial for the nutrients that the baby's getting, as it's getting its mother's antibodies and just the bonding that they get from being together, but it's also the work that a baby has to do when they're nursing. And the whole process that they go through from the moment that they start nursing, it's forcing them to not just sucking like they do on a typical bottle that is made by man with the rubber nipple, but they have to have actually a different shape in their mouth where their tongue has to literally latch on, and it's more of a milking. When you think of milking a cow, the muscles that they have to use, the tongue and everything, the swallowing, it's really forming and shaping their mouth from day one, and everything was designed for a reason. God created us to function and to promote health and wellness, and we're starting to take these things away that we're designed to do, and we need to bring them back into our lives. And so yes, breastfeeding is hugely important in actually shaping how a child's jaw and their tongue, even their speech, how their speech is going to be. So there's some great benefits, and I'll be writing this in a blog that you'll be able to go to, so I hope you'll check that out. But anyway, so right from breastfeeding, we're really starting to shape the child's mouth and how it forms. And then when they're about 3-4 years old and they go into eating hard food that we would be foraging for if we were out in the wild, it's going to be more raw foods. And I'm going to show you some examples of what we implement into our diets, and it will actually help to increase their jaw size. As a matter of fact, researchers looked over thousands of ancient skulls from all over the world, and the skulls were like dentist nightmares. They were full of cavities and infections, and the teeth were crowded into the jaw, and many impacted, even those impacted teeth that many of us maybe had to have taken out. Wisdom teeth, there wasn't enough room for the wisdom teeth. But when they went back and they looked far, far back into the hunters and gatherers, they noticed that their teeth were impeccable. They were almost like perfectly in. There were no cavities. There were no impacted teeth. The wisdom teeth were able to come in normally. They didn't need braces. Their teeth were straight and white and clean. Why? Because they were eating raw foods that were hard, and they were chewing, and that masticating process of that chewing, really hard, aggressive chewing, when you're biting into, think of a nice hard carrot, that ongoing chewing every day was building up the jaw and keeping it wider, not having to get smaller. And as you go through the generations and you look at those different skulls that the scientists have been studying, they notice that our jaws are getting smaller. Why? Because we're not working our jaws and our facial muscles like we used to. Think about it. How often do you really chew? We cut our pieces, our carrots up, we cut our celery up. There's no aggressive chewing anymore, or else we cook everything down. And when you add heat to everything, it makes it soft and slimy and pureed, and everything's just ground down, and there's no more chewing anymore. We've got to get back to aggressive chewing. And so come out over here and we'll kind of take a look at what we have. And hopefully it will get you to start thinking about your teeth, and your children's especially, because that's where it starts. So This is what I call my aggressive platter, and you can see this. It's just amazing. I don't cut anything into small pieces, and even for children, my granddaughter, she's the same way. And just look at this beautiful chunk of cucumber. Imagine biting into this, okay? This gorgeous red cabbage, just a big piece. Don't cut it into small pieces. Again, look at the summer squash. Great. Don't even cut your radishes. Eat them like this. Get right in there. You got to chew on them. I mean, your celery. You've got so many wonderful hard things. I've got my nuts. Again, chewing on them. I'm not going to pulverize them. And then you've got your apples. All of these things you've got to bite into, you've got to chew on them, and you've got to grind them down. It's wonderful. And real quickly, when I take my lunch to work, I use a container like this. And yes, I do fit all of this in here. I put you can see I've got all my sprouted beans and legumes and everything in here. So those would be on my bottom of my layer. And then look at this. They all fit in there nicely. Okay, all these big chunks. And this is literally how I eat my lunch. People will come in my classroom and they'll see me squatting, looking out the window, and this is how I eat primally. And of course my carrots, it won't fit in here, so I cut this in half, and they lay inside here. And this is literally how I eat my lunch. It's just so cool. Just that biting in, and you're thinking you're biting into that whole piece of cucumber. It's just awesome. And the aggressive chewing, it's got these little tiny bits and pieces, and you're really biting in. It's so satisfying. Try implementing these large pieces in each meal. If you like your meat, try not to put meat tenderizer on them. The meat tenderizer actually makes it too soft. Have it where it's more aggressive. Think back to our hunters and gatherers. Their food would have been very hard, and the meat that they would have caught, whether it's the bison or the venison, it would have been very tough to chew on, and they would have been chewing and chewing and chewing. All of that is imperative to how our mouths form from day one, from when we're born, to as we age. And as we age, we want to keep our teeth. We don't want to have dentures or partials put in. We don't want to have all the cavities. This is part of how you do it. Look at the carrots. Instead of buying those little tiny baby carrots, get the big ones. Sometimes I can find really, really huge, and boy, the biting in. Even my kindergartners are starting to come with their more primal food to school, because I teach them in my classroom as well. And also, I like to end my meals with, although most of my meals are very hard chewing food, but I always like to end with a carrot or something that's really a good chewing, and it's usually the carrot. Rox and I, you always see, we always have our carrots left on our plates at the end, because it's that aggressive chewing also cleans off your teeth. It scrapes any of the food particles that are there, and it's just a neat thing, because it's naturally cleaning our teeth. But yes, we still brush and floss every day, but it's just a neat idea to end with a carrot, a big carrot. And also, on that note of brushing our teeth, make sure that you don't immediately go and brush your teeth right after eating. I like to just rinse with warm water and just kind of irrigate it, because your body's pH and so forth wants to come back, and that actually is helping your mouth and your teeth with the enamel and so forth. I just rinse really good with some warm water, and then I'll brush and floss maybe half an hour later on, but not too much, because sometimes if you've had vinegars and things like that, which can be acidic and very acidic onto your enamel, that going and brushing it can actually force the enamel to erode much quicker. Get into the aggressive chewing and just enjoy it. And it's amazing when you start doing it. It's like you realize it's very satisfying. You know, you're taking your time. You're not rushing through your meals. You're digesting. It's going to make the digestive process even better, because it's taking your time but enjoying that chewing. And I think you'll find that you'll be more satisfied. You won't feel like you're missing out on something at the end of your meals by really doing this aggressive chewing. So I hope this gives you some kind of an idea of what you can do to kind of up your primal eating, and to up your wellness of your oral cavity. It's important for yourself, but most importantly for our children. Start them early on this primal eating. And I hope that this was a little bit of a quick informational video that taught you something new for your family, and to enjoy just living as we were intended to. And thanks for stopping by our Fountain of Youth channel today. And you know what I always say, Take charge of your health destiny. You can do it. Take care. Bye-bye.